Real quick, I'm sure that some of you already know that a few weeks ago this channel was actually hacked. The channel name was changed and they were live streaming something, and it was scary for a little bit, but the channel was restored within a few hours and everything is back to normal, more or less. And never once in my entire time making videos have I ever asked people to like, comment, subscribe, because usually I think that just comes across as kind of annoying when YouTubers do it, and I think they'll do that anyway if they like the content. But I did lose some subscribers during the hacking, and if you did unsub during that, not knowing what happened, or maybe you've just never subbed anyway but liked the videos, maybe consider subscribing. Okay, I feel dirty just asking, but I'll never do it again, don't worry. Okay, anyway, the video now. So it's been a year since this video, and a year since Save TF2 and the response from Valve. Now when I made that video, the goal, at least in my mind, was primarily just to get Valve to act on and acknowledge the bot problem that was making casual almost unplayable. And when the Save TF2 Twitter campaign happened, I think to some people that also meant asking Valve for new content and updates and stuff like that. But to me that was always secondary, the bots were the real problem. And a year later, are the bots still a problem? The short answer is yes. The longer answer is yes, kinda, sorta, but to a much lesser degree. But that doesn't roll off the tongue very well. From my personal experience, the number of bots has decreased dramatically, going from something that would affect nearly every casual match at some point, to something that honestly doesn't even show up in my average night of playing. And this YouTube poll I did months ago would seem to suggest that the fixes they've been making have had some positive impact. Of course I can't speak for everyone's experience, but to me it's been a huge improvement, even if it hasn't been a total fix. At this point, I see more human cheaters than I see bots, so take that for what you will. But it seemed like we were also finally going to get a real update too. When they first released this blog post, it was the hypest I've seen the community in a long time. For the first time in years, a real TF2 summer update was going to happen, something that used to be a staple of the game. And the blog post even brought back the funny TF2 style writing. It was like nature was healing, world peace could finally be achieved, it was just in our grasp. Then they stealthily updated it to say, quote, holiday-sized update. And got rid of the, quote, who knows what else. And, yeah. This is old news at this point. You all know this. But that just took the wind out of everyone's sails. And quite frankly, it was a pretty scummy thing to do. There were still things to look forward to in this summer update. At least it would be more than a crate. So we'd be getting more than the bare minimum. I mean, our standards are low, but at least we have some standards. And even then, I think I, like most people, went from being pretty hyped and cautiously optimistic to pretty whatever about the summer update. But over time, that cautious optimism actually started to come back to me. Whatever you think about the blog post at this point, it really energized and brought out some of the best of the workshop and among the creative side of the TF2 community in general. And the community fix tab on the workshop has some pretty massive potential. Valve has accepted community fixes for things for years, but for them to have their own dedicated section on the workshop can be pretty big. It's like when the workshop finally got a map section. That was a game changer, because they added new maps, and that literally changed the game. That was a funny joke, you could laugh. Anyway, the term fix is a little bit nebulous. For example, making the lock and load have 3 barrels, because it has 3 shots now, is something that's totally subjective. There wasn't anything broken with the original model, it's just that this creator wanted to update the model to reflect its stats a little bit more. And I think they did a great job with that, but I do personally prefer the original model. But that same creator, Mr. Friend, also made submissions where Spy's revolver unlocks now actually load new bullets when they reload, where currently in game they just kind of do the reload animation without actually putting anything in. And also making one where the SMG also has bullets when it reloads, or fixing the Lugermorph magazine not coming out when it's inspected. And while these changes of course aren't necessary to the game, it's little things like them that really go a long way into cleaning things up and just making them better. There's been so much added to TF2 since it came out, that even at the best of times, Valve and the TF2 team honestly probably wouldn't have bothered to fix little things like this on their own. For example, since the game came out, the first-person animations for Sniper have always shown him wearing 2 fingerless gloves. But Sniper has only ever worn 1 glove. This has bothered me since I started playing the game, and the possibility of finally having a 1-glove Sniper made official has probably excited me more than it should. Yes, you can download a mod that already does that, but it's not the same. And this entire pack by Everick does a great job updating the first-person textures to more accurately reflect the third-person models, and I think they just look so much better. Another thing that's bugged me for forever is Engineer's messed up Uber texture where his goggles glow below his face. And hey, now there's a fix for that. And the default class portraits on the HUD have quite literally been out of date since the game came out. They use beta designs, like where Heavy has no gloves, or Spy still has his armbands and stuff like that. But this submission recreates those portraits with their updated models, and it looks really clean. There's also a submission that does the same thing for Spy's disguise masks too. Finally seeing weapons that lack crit glow get that fixed is exciting. Or getting kill icons for weapons that still don't have them. Finally getting a blue Razorback. The hose on Pyro's flamethrower no longer getting stuck to their hand. We could also finally see Blue Pants Scout. Or if you're against Blue Pants Scout, we could finally see his belt loops fixed. Though personally I do like Blue Pants Scout. We've got cleaning up of textures, fixing lighting, and making an entire thing for new contracts. When people say things like, give TF2 over to the community, it's always been kind of a vague phrase, and I don't think I could even say I agree with it at face value. But if it means things like this, I'm all for it. Where we have creators clean up mistakes and oversights while also proposing brand new things, and having Valve as an official source to curate them. Like Valve would probably never go out of their way to add an official hat removal option to the game. But when you have a workshop submission that does that, and you have people demonstrate that they might want that, they could just easily implement it and have it as an option. I still doubt they would ever do it, but I do think it'd be a good option to have. Same thing where you could disable decals. And there is definitely a cynical way of viewing this. It's Valve profiting off other people's work while they do little of their own, like they have for the past few years. And, yeah, I can't really argue with that. I can't really say my opinion of Valve is particularly high at this very moment. But there is still so much cool stuff made by the community, and seeing them have a possibility of getting added is exciting. Think about it this way, this will likely be the biggest update we've had since Jungle Inferno. Yeah, we've gotten new maps for Halloween, and we've gotten some new maps for Christmas, but only Pier, Cascade, Bread Space, and Altitude have been made year-round maps. That's only 4 maps in 5 years. But we will likely see at least 4 new maps in the summer update, and they will presumably all be made year-round. There are so many people who only started playing after Jungle Inferno, and this will likely be their biggest update so far. Sure, it's not the Uber update or the Love and War update or something like that, but not everything can be. I mean, Gunmetal was one of my favorite updates, and so much of that update was just community-made stuff. It was Gunmetal that introduced contracts. And if that contract submission is accepted, that will also be the first time we've had new non-Halloween contracts since Jungle Inferno. But a big reason I did like Gunmetal so much was that it had a lot of balancing. And there's unfortunately not really a good reason to expect that in this summer update. I do have a tiny amount of hope that they'll surprise us with something, but I'll keep my expectations extremely low. I would also be super thrilled to see this update have an actual update page, but again, my expectations for that are very low. I would even be happy if the update had a proper name other than just Summer Event or something like that. That's how low the bar is for actually getting Valve-made stuff. Will they actually go the extra mile to give the update a name? We'll find out. But after everyone pretty much universally disliked the choices they made for the Winter 2021 case, I do think they did a much better job with the 2022 choices. I do think most of the hats last year were pretty good. And you do have some people who are down on the workshop because in the past they've added some not so great items from there, but that is really more or less on Valve. They're supposed to be the quality control. You could pretty much always just hop on the workshop at any given time and pick things off the front page and have better choices than what they added in the Winter 2021 case. And that's not even necessarily about the quality of the items in that case, but that they were all just so hyper-specifically Christmas items that nobody's going to want them. Nobody's going to want to wear them 11 months out of the year. So at least Valve has seemed to kind of learn from that. I can't really speak on the quality of the unusual effects they've added because I've never really been big on unusuals, but I guess they're okay, I don't know. And for war paints, I do think war paints are pretty cool, but the fact that I can't have them applied to a weapon I already have kind of ruins them for me. I like my strange weapons and I don't want to stop using them. But they are still cool, and I hope they pick some good ones for the people who are into that. There's some people on my Discord who even made their own submissions. But, yeah, so it was around this time last year that I was actually going through a pretty rough spot in my personal life, and I kind of lost interest in a lot of what made me happy. It's a big reason why my upload schedule really slowed down last year. It's not because I wasn't enjoying making videos or wasn't enjoying TF2 in particular, it's just that I wasn't really enjoying anything. Except for walking. Like, I really like walking normally, but in the summer of last year, it was basically all I did. I just really could not stand being inside in almost like a weirdly claustrophobic way. And hey, I mean, I guess getting addicted to walking is not the worst thing ever, but I should be inside playing video games instead, like a normal person. And yeah, I have been enjoying playing video games more again. And one of the most exciting things about playing TF2 back in the day was always the summer update. That always brought so much hype. But like I said, the chances of this being another Pyromania or Gunmetal are extremely low. It's not going to be, and I don't expect it to be. But I still do really look forward to it. And I'm personally just very excited about the prospect of getting some kind of real summer update. That's something I haven't been able to say since actually like 2016. And yeah, this will actually be the biggest update for a lot of people who've only played after that. We're gonna get new maps, we're gonna get new taunts, we're gonna get new hats, we're gonna get fixes for things that should have been fixed decades ago. It's just kind of nice. So this is a question I have for you, just how excited are you for this update in general? Are you more optimistic about it, or are you more pessimistic about it? Quite frankly, I think both are pretty rational responses. But yeah, I guess the only thing left to do is to wait and see. The May 1st deadline has passed, so we'll probably see it within the next upcoming month or so. And all I've got left to say is basically keep your expectations really low for Valve-made stuff, but also at the same time, it's okay to look forward to the new community-made stuff. If you're only going to focus on what you pretty much know we're already not going to get, like Valve-made stuff balancing, then you're just never going to be happy. You gotta accept some things for what they are, right? And if they do happen, well, then we're all gonna be super excited. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to get my thoughts out on this update before it actually happened. And thanks for watching. And of course, a special thanks to my patrons like Varric, Captain Forex, Eggox, Colonel, Probably Vinegar, Caponicus, Kelso the Pirate, Pillsman's Fox, Kyber96, Scout with a Name, Glump, Salt God, Lavi, Taupe, Time Consuming, Man344, Nolan46, and Melodici. Alright, peace out, dogs.